Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Natural Medicine Week, everybody. Come on in. I'll get you to mute your microphones if you haven't already done so. We've just had a fantastic week. We've gone from one natural medicine event, one week of it to the whole month. So we've had an event a day all of this week, and we are just having so much fun. Today, we are going to be talking all things cleansing the body with juicing. I must admit, I am super excited to hear from Rebecca Lang, who actually is also the president of ATMS. So she's the chair of our board. We've got the best leader to be sharing with you today. And yeah, we'll have people join us over the hour, and you're welcome just to come, go, make these events just whatever you can fit into your very busy schedules. And all of them are recorded, and so I will pop them on our Friends of Natural Medicine website so that you can catch up whenever you are available as well. So you'll notice you do also have a chat box there. We love active engagement. So Rebecca's going to share with you today, but I'd love you to pop your questions in the chat as we go, and she'll be able to answer any of those questions once she's finished presenting. So that's enough from me. I'm Annie Gibbons, the CEO of ATMS, and I'm now going to hand over to Rebecca Lang.
Hi everyone, welcome to Cleansing the Body with Juicing, and you are going to be learning from a real expert in this area because not only am I a naturopath and a nutritionist and a wellness expert, I do have my own clinic, which is Bargara Beach Holistic Health Centre, which I've had for over 16 years. But I also own a juice bar. So about 6, 7 years ago now, I opened up Of the Earth Juice Bar and Health Shop next door to my clinic. Initially, there was quite a few reasons involved, but at the time I'd been working from home and my business grew very quickly. And I then moved to the CBD, my little town. And so I was walking every morning and suddenly I'm sort of around the town. I wasn't just at home all the time. And I realized in our area there was no real nice cold pressed juices and there wasn't any dairy-free smoothies and there wasn't organic coffee or anything. So I decided to create it for myself, really, initially. And then obviously that was great for the community. We're open 7 days a week from 6 a.m. and from 7 a.m. in winter. And then from there, I also created a 3-day juice cleanse as well. So I'm excited to share with you about my passion for juicing today. So we'll move on to the next slide if I can. Oh, there we go. Oh, so there we go. Why I'm passionate about juicing. So juices have always been part of my prescribing as a naturopath and a nutritionist. Most people aren't getting enough nutrients daily, and juices provide a fast and effective way to absorb essential vitamins and minerals. Refined sugars deplete nutrient value levels even further. So that's like if you're having soft drink or anything like that, you're just taking the sugar is just going to take more nutrients out of your body. So and we're going to go into the difference with cold pressed juicing as well, which I'm really passionate about, and people don't always understand the difference with between cold pressed juicing and just normal juices. So we are what we eat, but more importantly, we are what we absorb. So you might have a very healthy diet, but it's about how much of that are you actually digesting and absorbing into your cells. So the benefits of juicing for absorption and health. So cold pressed juices offer maximum nutrient and enzyme retention. They have high absorption with minimal digestion required. You also have natural electrolytes and probiotics in cold pressed juices, and they're alkalizing and calming effects on the body. So a lot of the juices I do as well, more vegetable. So they're cold pressed vegetable juices. And then you might add a little bit of fruit for taste. So, and by being cold pressed, it means that they're made very slowly. So they're just pushed down, like the vegetables or fruit just pushed down, and then it's the juice that comes out is the max amount of nutrients and minerals and enzymes in there. They're not like done with a centrifuge where they're done really fast, where you just put the whole apple in and bang, there's your juice. So, and natural electrolytes. So it's interesting with my 3-day juice cleanse, we actually did the body composition. So we measured muscle, fat percentages, and fluid levels of 10 men before and after they did the 3-day juice cleanse. And we were able to see not only that they lost up to 4 kilos of fat in that 3 days, we were able to see that they didn't lose any muscle, because 3 days isn't long enough to lose muscle if you're not having enough protein. But we were also able to see that they lost a lot of fluid. And one of the things for a lot of people is that they're actually holding a lot of fluid, even up to 10 kilos of fluid in the body. So this is when we have the potassium sodium pump in our body that moves fluid in and out of the cells. And this pump can get broken down in our life, and often from dehydration. And this is where you see a lot with men as well, that they may become very dehydrated in their life, and the pump has actually broken down, and then the body starts to retain fluid. And that's for women, you might see the swollen feet or something as well. So it was interesting to be able to see, well, actually, when we did the juice cleanse, we had a reduction in this fluid. And that's because of the actual natural electrolytes that are found in cold press juicing, more than what you'll get more benefit out of that than any chemical made electrolytes. And also then you've got the natural probiotics. So what makes the cold press juices superior? So as I was saying before, they use a very slow pressure to gently extract the juice, and they retain more nutrients, enzymes, and minerals. There's no oxidation or heat damage, and they have a longer shelf life, so up to 72 hours in the fridge. And with that, and that's why I'm able to do a 3-day juice cleanse, because I'm using cold pressed juices. So they are able to then last longer. So if you made a juice up yourself with a cold pressed juice, and you just did maybe did 2 liters or 2-liter bottles, and you thought, right, I don't want to have to go through this whole process for another couple of days. As long as you don't take the lid off, then the oxygen doesn't go in. So as soon as you take the lid off, the oxygen starts to go in. Well, from that moment is when it will start to deteriorate. So you could use cold pressed juice and make your juice for today, and then also have one made up for the next day and even the next day after that. So you do 3 days work in a row. And then they have no fiber. So all the fiber goes one way and the juice goes the other way. And some people think, well, that's not good. We're told that we need the fiber and everything. Yes, you do need fiber, and fiber is good in different ways, and in fruit and vegetables when you're eating them whole. But what we're trying to do here is just get the complete absorption. So you're not having to digest it all. We just want you to absorb the benefits of the juice, all the nutrients and the enzymes and the minerals, and not have to digest anything at all. Okay, so all juices cold compressed. No, most commercial juices like those in cafes are using the centrifugal one, which I told you before. So my cold press juices are all very expensive. They're usually about $8,000, maybe more each. In Australia, it's very difficult to get very good commercial ones. So we do go through them quite often. But in the big ones that you see at cafes and places like Boost Juice, they cost about $300. They're stainless steel. They're the ones you just put the whole apple, whole carrot in, and bang, there's your juice. They've still got fiber in it, and they're not they're oxidated, and they've got oxidation in there, so their oxygen gets in there as well, and they're using heat. So and you just won't get all the benefits that you need from cold press. So those ones, if you've got one that you're just putting the whole thing in and it's not cold press, you'll just need to make your juice up and drink it straight away. You will have some fiber in there if you're having, and that may give you loose bowels as well if you're having, say, oranges or whatever in there. So that's the thing with our cold press 3-day juice cleanse. You don't get loose bowels or anything with it because there is no fiber in there. So yeah, when you're, going to a place to buy a juice and they're selling it fresh, you could ask them, is this cold press? A lot of time they might not even know what it is. They could tell you it is and it might not be, but now you're going to be able to give them an education. So how much should I have each day? So if you're unwell, undergoing treatment, including cancer, I would aim for 1 litre of cold pressed juice per day and sip it through the day. So this is where, from the beginning of being a naturopath, and because the way the lady I trained under, so even though I did a naturopathy degree at university, I still did a prac with this lady that I loved so much that I did my prac for 2 years with her. So while I was still studying and working, because I learned so much from her, and she was an older naturopath and she traveled the world and she just had a lot of knowledge. And so she was very passionate about juicing herself. And she had cured herself personally of lots of different things, including arthritis just through juicing. And that had what led her into being a naturopath. So when I have clients that are going through chemo, when they may not be able to eat very much, they might not, be able to tolerate too much food, we use a lot of cold pressed vegetable juices for them to help them get the nutrients they need. And that also seems to help them to reduce some of those side effects of nausea as well. With other treatments as well, like arthritis, it's very important to be reducing the acid in the body and the uric acid, and that's what cold pressed juices do as well. Particularly the vegetable juices. So for general health, you might want to have a veggie juice to start your day, and in the afternoon you could maybe add a little bit of fruit into the vegetable juice just to give you that extra little bit of energy that you might need. Okay, so why can't I just blend my vegetables? So I remember years ago when the bullet came out, and so that's like the blender one, and everyone was so excited, and all my clients, said I've gone onto this bullet thing and I'm having all these juices that way. And I was like, yeah, I can tell because your digestion is a lot worse. So I do this unique form of urine biochemistry, and where we're putting urine and chemicals into test tubes. And basically I could see all my clients' digestion all become worse all at the same time. And it was all when everyone got these bullets and they were blending everything up. So the issue with this is that you're not chewing some of these hard vegetables. And we need to be chewing them to get the enzymes in our saliva activated. And then that's what helps us to break down like the carrots or celery so that we can absorb the nutrients and minerals. So if you're just drinking it down, it's all blended up and you're just drinking it, you're not going to be activating those enzymes to actually help you to absorb the benefits of it. Excuse me. So, this is where it not only will one can put more, strain on your bowels and maybe more likely to, possibly get diarrhea or even constipation because you're just having it all in one go, may not be breaking it down properly. So it just depends on your vulnerabilities with your bowels. But you're just not getting, any real benefits from it because you're not absorbing it. So the cold press juicing allows nutrients to be absorbed without putting pressure on your digestive system. Okay, so my favorite juice, and we do have a few different ones in my juice bar, which one I call the best juice, because everyone was always coming in and asking what is the best juice. So I decided to just create one called the best juice. But being in a little town and where I'm just in a regional area, so it took a bit of educating of the community to help people understand about vegetable juices, because everyone just wants, the Tropicana or, the one that's just beetroot and pineapple and that, which is great, still beneficial. But the real benefits come from the vegetables. So my favorite one, called Naturopath's Choice, is beetroot, carrot, celery, a little bit of ginger, and lemon. So lemon's the only fruit that I ideally would allow. So this is highly alkalizing and cleansing, and it's ideal when you're feeling unwell or fatigued. And it's great for a morning detox juice or an afternoon energy lift. And this is alkalizing. So this is the juice I use for people with arthritis, or if they're going through cancer treatment, and they're just, needing some extra support and nutrients in their body. Okay, so a great energy juice is, and this is a little bit beneficial, as in I've got my vegetables in there as well, is carrot, orange, ginger, and turmeric. And this supports your vitamin C and adrenal function. So it's a great one for the afternoon at that time at 1, 2 o'clock, where you just feel like, your energy goes down and you might want to have a nanny nap. The carrot's also providing some vitamin A and alkalizing as well. And then you've got the anti-inflammatory effects and immune building of ginger and turmeric. So it's a beautiful juice, and it's not too over acidic or anything. So the carrot actually balances out the acidity of the orange. Okay, and a green juice. So I am like, I love the green juice so much. Every day I have to have a green juice. Like, I just literally get cravings for it. And even if I'm away, I find it really hard to not be able to get my cold pressed juices. And every now and again I'll try and go somewhere, but it won't be cold pressed, so I'll just not really end up having it, because I don't want one of the ones that are just going to put more stress on my digestive system. But this is one of my favorites, is cucumber, celery, spinach, kale, and I have a green apple or half a green apple in there. So that's just very alkalizing and hydrating. And when you're having the juice, you can literally feel it, like your body, like your cells are just going, thank you, like they're just absorbing straight in. So this is packed with vitamins A, B, C, K, and iron, and it's ideal for detoxing and inflammation, and also increasing your energy. It is a great one just to give you that bit of pickup in the afternoon as well. Okay, so when I first opened Juice Bar, everybody's coming in going, can I have celery juice? And I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Here's a whole bunch of celery in one go for one person's juice, basically. And I tried it one day myself, thought, okay, I better have just a celery juice. So, and it tastes disgusting, actually. It's not a very nice juice to have just on its own. But this is from the medical medium. He had a big thing about, celery juice. And see, the thing is, celery is high. It's got the sodium content in there. So that potassium sodium pump I told you in the body, that's where celery can help, because, it is going to help get that pump working as well. But the thing is, all the other vegetables all have their benefits as well. Celery is not just some amazing thing that is the only one that does this. What is good is, I wouldn't waste just having the celery on its own. I'd be, well, you might as well have some beetroot in there to support the liver, that's high in iron as well. You might want to have some carrot, get some, bit of vitamin A in there, and have, it extra alkalizing. So, and then you've got your ginger, that's anti-inflammatory. So, I'd be like, well, if you're going to have it, you might as well have the benefit of the other vegetables as well. And also that will greatly improve the taste of it. The other thing I'll tell you about celery, it is very, when you're cutting the base off your celery, you should then sit it in a little bit of water, just a small amount of water, until it starts to sprout at the top. And then you can put it in the garden, and you can regrow a whole celery that way. Okay, so oxidative stress occurs when toxins, which are free radicals, outweigh your body's antioxidants. and this increases disease risk and accelerates aging. So I have equipment in my clinic, which many of my clients know that it's TGA approved scientific equipment where in blood I test people's oxidative stress. So oxidative stress is your risk of disease and how quickly you'll age. So it's got A, B, C, D, and E, and it's got a number in these readings as well. So when a person is in oxidative stress, their reading will be like an E and maybe a high number up in 70 or 80. And we know that that person's got a high risk of disease and they'll be aging quicker. So my job as a naturopath, the way I see it, is I then reverse that risk of disease. So I bring the person back to an A, and then I know that I have the scientific evidence that I've reversed this person's risk of disease and hopefully improve their lifespan. And I do this with natural medicine and including and diet, which includes the cold pressed juices. So if you are looking at a way of anti-aging, the most powerful way you can look at an anti-aging is from the inside out, and that's through reversing your oxidative stress. Okay, so is it best to use organic vegetables and fruit? Organic is ideal for juicing, but not essential. The issue is availability and price as well. So so the goal is like nutrient intake, not perfection. We live in the world that we live in now. In an ideal world, yes, you would have everything organic and do it that way. But even where I live in a regional area, it's very difficult for us to get organic here. Sometimes when I have ordered it in, it's by the time it gets here, they'll be like, oh, sorry, we didn't have any beetroot or something. Or if you don't use it in that day, basically it's already going off because of where it's got to come from here. So we have an organic farm here that sends it straight down to the capital city. It doesn't even get available in our town. So we've got to go to the capital city and basically bring it back up. The other thing is organic is very expensive. So for a lot of people, they just won't end up doing it. They won't be able to maintain that level. So rather than put yourself in a situation where you go, oh, okay, I'm doing, organic and I can do it once a month or once a week, it's better to just be doing your vegetable juices every day and dealing. If you can get, the produce more from farmers markets and places like that will probably be your better option if you can. Okay, so how juicing helps reverse oxidative toxic stress. So we've sort of jumped onto this now, but we're talking about the organic produce, but juices are very high in your antioxidants. So you're getting them from plant-based phytonutrients. These fight the oxidative stress, which is the free radicals or the toxins. So you've got these toxins, and what gets them out of the body is antioxidants, and we have antioxidants in our fruit and vegetables. And cold pressed juices are one of the easiest way to absorb these. So if you're a person you didn't want to take a lot of supplements and everything, I mean, cold pressed juicing is just one of the best things you can do for all your nutrients, all your minerals, all your antioxidants, and you can, all your enzymes, your digestive enzymes help with your whole digestive system and your probiotics and your electrolytes. So to me, it is really food as medicine. Okay, here I am again, using food as medicine. So cold pressed vegetable juices, they deliver the high doses of absorbable vitamins, enzymes and minerals. They help to detoxify the body, and they're alkalizing, and they reduce pain, inflammation, and arthritic symptoms. So why am I going on about enzymes? And this is like an area I'm very passionate about, and I do prescribe a lot of enzymes in my clinic as well. They aid digestion and nutrient breakdown. So they're producing the saliva and from chewing, but they're also producing the pancreas. So quite often people who have diabetes, who already have a compromised pancreas, also may have compromised digestive enzymes. So they're more likely to have digestive problems as well. So yeah, that's just the pancreas is an important organ in our body for our blood sugar, but it's also important for our enzymes as well. So enzymes are found in raw vegetables, and the easiest way to get them is through cold press juicing. And you can also supplement. So it is one of the supplements I do recommend for my clients. Ideally everyone would just get them from the cold pressed vegetable juices, but not everyone's going to juice every day. But if they were looking at a food-based way of having the enzymes, that's what I'd be recommending. I prefer to prescribe an enzyme over a multivitamin, because a digestive enzyme will help you to get the nutrients out of your food, out of your existing diet. And a good enzyme will also have some hydrochloric acid in there as well, which will help with the breakdown of food. This is why so many people over 50 as well are on antacids such as Nexium. That's probably half the population. What they actually need is enzymes, and that will help with fixing the problem, where the antacids just treat the symptoms. So my recipe book is no longer available on this shop, unfortunately, because we've moved it into the 21-day detox program that I have. So this is a self-paced detox program that's got my recipe book in there. It's got all my cold pressed juices, the protein balls, lots of recipes that are all gluten-free, dairy-free, and sugar-free. The 21-day detox program is gluten, dairy, sugar, caffeine, and alcohol-free for 3 weeks. And the first week is vegan, and then then you can bring in white meat, and then the last week you can bring in some lamb and veal. But you've got your meal plans there, and all of your shopping list, and everything's done for you. So each day you will receive information come out, and you will also be able to each day you'll also receive things that help you to detox your mind and your spirit as well, because that's all part of being healthy. And detoxing is also working with the mind and keeping your mind in the right place, going, yes, I should keep going with this beneficial. And also helping with the spirit, so you can release any trauma or anything that's holding you back from living your best life. So that's where it's on the healthandhealing.net.au/programs/ is where you'll find the 21-day self-paced detox program. I've also put a link in there for the best juicer that I would recommend for you. So that's from Curvings, and you might want to have a look at that one as well to have at home. So I'm hoping one day soon I can get my 3-day juice cleanse out Australia-wide, which is what I'm working on. But at this stage, it's only available in my area in Bargara, which is 4 hours north of Brisbane. So, okay, so thank you, everyone. Hopefully I didn't speak too fast, but we got through some important information that I hopefully will help you in your life. And I can just answer any questions if we have any questions. Okay. So someone just said that they've got a Curvings juicer, which is great. Yep. I've been really, Annie's put the link there for the Curvings. Do you want me to just go through the chat questions, Annie, or?
Yeah, you're welcome to. I can highlight a few. I had a giggle myself because I got a NutriBullet and I thought it was actually supposed to be healthy, and now I'm like, oh, maybe it's not as healthy as I thought. So I've learned a lot today from you, Rebecca. Thank you so much.
Well, you can use your NutriBullet to make smoothies. So like if you want to do, like fruit and smoothies, that's okay.
Oh, that's what I do too.
That.
Yes.
Or, you wanted to use it to, help with making a soup or something. But when it comes to a juice, yes, you're best off getting a cold press juicer.
Fair enough. We also have, I'll get you to stop sharing your screen if you like, Rebecca, because then everyone can see you more. Fantastic. So pop your pictures on if you're happy to, everyone. We've got Nancy's got a mod cold press juicer. I asked everyone who's got a juicer. Jenny's got a cold press, which is impressive. Debbie's only got a blender. Yeah, it's been really interesting hearing all about the process with heat and oxygen. And yeah, I wasn't aware of a lot of those things. Um, I would love, keep popping your questions in. I've got a couple of questions for you though, Rebecca, just to kick
Yeah.
us off. How often should you have a detox? So you talked about your 3-day detox, and then you talked about a 21-day detox. Is it something that you would recommend as a nutritionist and a naturopath that you should do it? Is it like a monthly? Is it quarterly? Is it yearly? What's the deal there?
Well, because of the equipment that I have and this scientific equipment that's measuring oxidative stress, and I've been using this, oh, it's probably about 10 years now, and I've tested thousands of clients in that time. We do know that people's bodies go into toxicity, particularly women. We see more issues with women's bodies being highly toxic than men's. And that's probably because of toxins are stored in the fat cells. And, we have a harder time. And I don't like to admit this too loud to many men, but it is almost like that they are the stronger sex, like biologically, on the earth at this point in time with all the chemicals around us. So if we lived on a mountaintop with fresh air and clean water and organic produce and no stress in our life, we wouldn't really need to detox at all. But we live in the world that we live in now. And even if you eat a healthy diet, with pesticides and everything, even in the air, let alone on our food, it is important to detox regularly. I detox my clients at least every 6 months. So, and that's a 21-day detox, what I'd recommend they do. So on my website as well with the program, you can choose to get my detox in a box, which is something that I've created for the general public. So if you're not a client of mine, you're still going to get some items in there that are going to help with your detoxing. So it's got a greens powder in there. I have my detox dukkha that I created through a lot of meditation and a vision around the COVID time. So we have different seeds in there that have been used in history for poisoning as well. We've got organic hemp oil, so it helps to take the therapeutic values of the seeds out of the cells, and we use lemon juice to break that down as well. Whole heap of other items in there, including detox foot patches, magnesium flakes to soak your feet in. We do have my natural skin cream and aromatherapy spray and all sorts of items like that. So you can sort of use that 21 days to be away from using as many toxins. So even in what we put on our skin is toxic a lot of the time. And then what we're washing our clothes with and in our, but we can't, it's hard for people to live this pure organic lifestyle every day in the world that we live in and without, costing them a fortune as well. But what we can do is allow our bodies that 21 days, at least twice a year of just having like cleansing it out, cleansing and letting it reset itself. Yeah. So, and, I've had people that I've actually detoxed for 6 months straight because they had, liver disease that we needed to, kind of reverse. So, sometimes you do have to kind of go a bit stricter, but in general, 3 weeks, twice a year.
Fantastic. Interesting, everybody. Put a little emoji in the chat or something, or say, yeah, that's cool. I don't want to dominate all the questions, so just let me know if you've got a question as well, or just give us some feedback. You can even raise your hand on this platform that we're using if you're wanting to say hello to Rebecca. How do you balance, says Debbie, how do you balance drinking ongoing juices with your meal plan? Does it replace a meal or best to juice one day and eat the next day?
Okay, so in a general meal plan, like it would depend on the person as well. So like, I mean, you might decide, look, I'm going to do a 3-day juice cleanse myself and I'm going to make all my juices. And, you might just want to do that to have a little break. providing you're not already underweight. You know what I mean? If someone who's already underweight, they're already struggling to eat food like mentally or emotionally or whatever, it may not be the best idea for them to, do a 3 days with no food at all. Or even, if you've got blood sugar issues or you're a diabetic, obviously that could be a risk as well. We don't want your blood sugar going down too low or too high. I know with my 3-day juice cleanse, I've had a lot of people who have diabetes do it, and we just get them to keep an eye and monitor. But because it's mainly vegetable with a bit of fruit, it seems to balance out. So I actually would recommend, though, cold press like juicing over fasting. I know many people would be like, there's a lot of stuff happening out there at the moment about water fasting and all that. My concern is that in that time, people aren't getting any nutrients at all. And when I look at a person's diet, a lot of the time people aren't even having enough nutrients in their diet, let alone what they're absorbing. That's why we have so many people that with deficiencies for magnesium, silica, which are needed for our bone health, and iron and B12, is because their diet isn't high in nutrients. And then you go on a water fast for 3 days or something, like you've got nothing going in there. So I would also, if you're going to have it during the times of eating as well, I would be having it like 1 in the morning. As soon as you wake up in the morning, you could have, before breakfast, would have a cold press vegetable juice, just absorb that straight in. And then maybe have one like in the afternoon or when you get home from work, just have a glass of juice then. Just to give you that bit of energy to get through your evening meal, get you in the right mindset.
Fantastic. Great. This is so interesting. Everyone enjoying this? I'm seeing lots of smiles from those who I can see your picture. Super helpful. I would also love to ask a question. Keep popping yours in the chat. Is when you said in your presentation that, you're not just losing fluid, you're losing fat. So you're losing fat and fluid. Is that different for men and women? First of all, on how much fat you actually lose, and is it a risk really? You just kind of a little bit referred to that, but who needs to sort of be under really intensive sort of support, if you like, from a clinical perspective, because losing fluid could be a risk to other illnesses they might have.
Yeah. So, well, generally, like if you were going to do like a 3-day juice cleanse or something yourself, we would recommend that, you speak to your doctor if you have any concerns, all of that type of thing. So women, generally speaking, and a lot of women would know this, men lose weight a lot quicker than women. Like I can have a husband and wife do the same program, and the husband's bang, like he's losing the weight, and the wife's like, we're doing the exact same thing, and why it's taking me so long? And that's just because women's bodies are designed to hold fat. We're not designed to not have any fat on our body at all. We are meant to be this, way. So yes, it can be different between men and women. If I have clients come in who are already underweight, or if they were very ill or anything like that, I would recommend that they still eat while they're doing the juicing. Often these are people who struggle, they might already be struggling with eating. So you try and encourage them, and you're using the juices to help them to actually get more nutrients and help rebuild their body and their cells so that they can get well. So though, someone like that, you would, recommend that they eat as well. And then with the fluid side of it, well, yeah, you're not going to lose like some ridiculous amount of fluids. You know what I mean? Like you might, if you've got 10 kilos of extra fluid on you, which say for a man, they're often the men that might have that big stomach out the front that looks really hard. That's actually just all fluid. And they come in and to lose weight. And I do my body composition on them, and it's like, you actually have no fat on your body. This is 10 kilos of fluid. Like I can't even help you to lose fat, because you that would be dangerous. And they're already hardly eating anyway. That 10 kilos is just fluid. And that's why it's so important to, be getting natural electrolytes into your body. We don't want to get, as we get older, whatever, be holding more and more fluid on our system. So, and it's not easy to lose fluid. Fluid is harder to lose than fat. I think, did that answer all of your questions?
Yeah, that was really good. I found that really interesting. So, anyone else got a question for Rebecca? Oh, here we are, one from Trisha. Juice as you need or do enough for a day or two. I know people who juice for up for days. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think what you're saying there is, yeah, like if it's a cold pressed juicer, you could do enough for a couple of days. And as long as you're not taking the lid off and allowing oxygen in, then it will last. You know, that's the whole benefit of cold pressed juicing as well. And you know, ideally, like for myself, you know, if I can have it made up fresh every day, which I do, like then I'll just have it fresh, because you will you know, technically probably say yes, you're going to get the maximum amount of enzymes when it's made fresh, but with cold press you're going to get pretty, like, you know, high of it anyway over those next couple of days, as long as you don't let the oxygen go in. And it also comes down to practicality, because you might think, oh no, I'm just going to make it every day. And then like you wake up in the morning, you run late, and like then it just doesn't happen, you know. So you might get all motivated on a Sunday and go, oh, you know, Sunday afternoon, like I'm preparing for the week. So I'm going to make up, you know, a litre of Naturopath's choice juice, and I'm going to have a glass, you know, for the next 3 mornings. And then on Wednesday, you just make up another 1 litre bottle, and then you've got it for the next 3 mornings after that. The other thing, what you can do with your juices, all the stuff that your fiber and everything. Like I'm pretty a bit obsessive about not wasting produce, and so firstly, all my leftover produce will either, you know, it goes through a few different stages. So one, it will either end up growing in the garden, like the base of my celeries, as I said before, or I have chooks as well, or it will just go straight into the veggie garden, like all the fiber. But generally, what I try and do, so I would do my carrot and celery and say ginger first, and all that fiber I would then put in a Glad bag and throw it in the freezer. And then when I later make soups or stews, whatever, I just chuck the whole frozen vegetable fiber straight into my soup or stew. And then, so then with beetroot, I wouldn't have that mixed in. So then I do my beetroot and say beetroot and apple, whatever, that fiber I'd keep separate. That would go into another area, because that would be used in, you know, baking. And I also use that beetroot fiber to make high iron protein balls as well. So I'll mix that up with nuts and dates and everything, and they'll become my protein balls. And yeah, and so the other parts of the veggies, so any other little parts of the veggies or even that celery, if I don't want to regrow it, it goes into another Glad bag with any other bits and pieces of veggies or whatever, and it all gets frozen. So I have a bag in the freezer, and it all gets chucked in there. And then when I make my broths in the slow cooker, I throw all my vegetable scraps in there. I fill it up with my alkalized Zarzan water, which is on the website. And, you know, cook it on low all day for 7 hours, and then I strain it off, and then I've got my vegetable broth. So everything always goes back to the earth as well. And even in my juice bar, all of our fiber, because the staff aren't going to do the way I do and put it into different areas, so I can't guarantee that's going to happen. So in our juice bar, all the fiber goes into buckets, and then that goes to my chooks and on my veggie garden. And we have other people in our community that will pick it up for their chooks or, you know, compost or veggie garden. My staff know I get really annoyed if any of it goes into the actual bin, because I feel that it has to go back to the earth.
Wow, that is amazing. I love it. I love it. Oh, so fascinating. We've also got a question from Oakley. She said, she's got eczema and she wants to know, does juicing help improve her skin or reduce flare-ups related to eczema?
Well, it can. It's also to do with, you know, like I do a hair testing that you'll see on my website that, you know, can pinpoint exactly what foods would be incompatible with your body. And that often helps a lot with eczema. But sometimes with things like eczema, by like detoxing or cleaning out your diet, like just, bringing it right back so it's very pure, can help, reduce any flare-ups. You might be like, wow, when I was juicing every day or when I was on that detox, I wasn't getting as much flare-ups, and it might be because some of the foods that could be causing inflammation for you're not having anymore. The other thing is with the Naturopath's Choice juice recipe that I gave you, that's alkalizing, so that's going to help as well. So definitely from a skin point of view, and speaking of skin as well, like when you're having beautiful nutrients and minerals and enzymes and electrolytes and probiotics every day from vegetables, like your skin is going to improve as well. People will be looking at you going, wow, like what are you doing? Well, you're just juicing every day. But and same within the the 21-day detox I do, like people lose 4 kilos on that as well. What I was going to say to you as well, Annie, one of the things I noticed, so on the juice cleanse, they lose usually around 3 to 4 kilos, and in our detox. But what I've noticed over the years is the less fat a person has on their body, the less fat that they will lose. So, and the more fat they have on their body when they do these detoxing things, the more fat they tend to lose.
Mhm.
So, and it's almost like the body has a bit of a balance, like a homeostasis there. So, if they're already like a fairly lightweight person, but they decide to do, a bit of juicing for a couple of days, it's like the body might stabilize or protect itself from losing too much fat. They don't have any fat to lose, you know what I mean?
Makes sense.
So, and especially if you only like 3 days or whatever of juicing, you're not going to, lose any muscle in that time. But yeah, the best way is probably to do it in balance. But like in place, like in my clients here, or a lot of people in our community, they do a 3-day juice cleanse every month. And then they'll detox, twice a year. But like in the US, some people do juicing for, 30 days and things like that, and they're not always using cold pressed juices as well. So they probably spend a lot of time on the toilet in that time.
We've got another question from Kate. If you don't have a cold press, is macerating items in a blender comparably the same?
No, so you might want to go back and rewatch the webinar because I've explained all of that. What I would suggest, if you can't, you'll have in here as well the link for the cold press juice I recommend, which is actually quite affordable. I've had a lot of people bought it over the last 12 months since I did last Natural Medicine Week. But the other thing is you could also check at secondhand stores. So, because cold press juicing isn't really fashionable anymore, and everyone's, it's not trendy. You'll quite often find a really good cold press juicer like at the Salvos or somewhere. And we have a Salvation Army just near my business here, and every now and again I'm over there, I'm like, here's cold press juicer, it's really good, like someone's just had it sitting in their cupboard collecting dust, never been used. And I will often like just buy it. And then if I have a client come in at some stage who can't afford to buy one, I'll just go, here, I've found this one for you from the Salvos if you want it. Because quite often they haven't been used before. So I'd recommend doing your best in whatever way you can to actually get cold press rather than blending up. Blenders are for smoothies and preferably dairy-free smoothies, but and that's where you can add your fruit and all of that in there as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, little hints on the chat happening. Curvings has quite a few sales throughout the year. Keep an eye out for that. Yep, definitely not something that people own anymore, but hey, we're getting back to basics here, aren't we?
Yeah, honestly, it's hard for me to believe, like, but it's just not fashionable, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of work as well. Like when you're actually juicing, people don't want to do whatever, they just want to do whatever's quick and easy is for them these days because everyone's so busy. But that's why if you do get the cold press, it will make your life easier.
Yeah.
But this is a very, affordable, easy way for you to actually start working with your health.
And recipe wise, is it like blending that you can just pop anything in? Like, is there there's no rules to it, or you've got recipe books, obviously. Is there a specific, ratio of certain things like fruits to vegetables or even in the mixes? Does it really matter? Or you can just go, you know what, just
Really?
get healthy and throw it in.
I mean, probably what I would say is like if you're doing beetroot, I'd only do like a quarter of a beetroot, because beetroot can be quite strong. And some people, this can show deficiencies in hydrochloric acid, and that if you see, it might come out in like your urine as well. So you may not want to use as much beetroot, but beetroot, is very good high in iron, and it's very supportive of the liver. And like with carrots and celery and that, you might do three or, 2 or 3 carrots, and, because you imagine how much juice you get out of each carrot, but, and then, about 3 or 4 stalks of celery. If you're doing ginger and that, you only want to do a little bit. You soon start to work it out. You taste it, go, oh my God, like I just put too much ginger in that one. But with the, like I think you just kind of balance it out. But with the beetroot is going to be your biggest one that you don't want to be like, hey, I'm just going to chuck a whole beetroot in this.
Yeah.
I mean, in saying that, I mean, beetroot juice is highly beneficial on it, even on its own as well. It's really quite popular for people who are detoxing, like if you went into like full detoxing. But yeah, I think you just kind of work it out after a while. The main thing is if you're only juicing fruit, that's not going to be, you'll have your antioxidants, but you're not going to have that alkalizing effect, and you will be spiking your blood sugar a bit. So, that's probably not the ideal thing. So I would be vegetables with a bit of fruit, if anything, for taste.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to have it all bitter. Definitely makes a difference, just adding a little extra. All right, we've got a couple more minutes. Any other questions from anyone? It's great to see so many people here today. Rhiannon said she had a skin issue, changed her body products, laundry, liquid, soaps, cleaning products. Yep, dish, toothpaste, all of it. Completely got rid of all her skin issues. Yeah, I love it. I love it. That's a classic elimination and find out what is actually causing it, isn't
Well,
it?
yeah, we use a hair test for that to take the tricky part out of it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, hey, we'll just through frequency, we do like it is alternative test, but we do get quite good results with that. And that will just take the guessing work out of what you need to remove out of your diet or household or skin products. But yes, the more pure you can make your life, the better. But honestly, there can be people that do all of that and still maybe have some problems, but and that's where you got to find out what's incompatible for your particular body, and sometimes that can actually be a healthy item as well.
So many here today might not know about what is hair testing, and is that something that's just done online? Is it just a strand of hair that's checked? How does that work, Rebecca?
Well, it's actually on my website. So if you go into the healthandhealing.net.au, you'll see it there. And it is alternative, and we do, it's just from a little bit of hair. With this particular test, it doesn't need to be from the root of the hair. And we just need a little tiny bit from the bottom. Coloured hair is okay, or no woman would have ever had the test done. So just the size of a thumbnail. And you just send that to us in a Glad bag, and the details are on there for you to complete the form on the website, and we will test about 800 items. So it's working through frequency. So frequency is people getting to know about this a little bit more, but we all hold our own frequency, and then foods and all different household products also hold their own frequency. So we're finding out what is compatible or incompatible with your particular body. So yeah, someone just said about the Rife machine, it tests strand of hair and can fix issues through frequency. So it is working on that line of things. This is probably just a lot sort of more expensive basically than a Rife machine that we're using, a lot more comprehensive. But it is on those lines of frequency, and it is something that I have been using for, 16 years, even prior, like when I was studying with this older naturopath, we were using there, and I actually recommend it to all my clients as part of how I work, because we individualize the dietary advice. And then we tend to get the best results working that way.
Mm. Also had a question, comment from Kate. She's heard that hair dye does affect the results. Is that true?
Not with this particular test. So with because we're working on frequency, so it's kind of working more on like DNA type, if you can understand that. If you're concerned, you could use saliva as well. But if you're doing a heavy metal and mineral testing, then you need to get a piece from, that's a completely different test, but you do need a big chunk of hair from, the back of your hair, and it can't be dyed. So it's a different test that we're probably talking about there. And yeah, Rhiannon's just saying that the Rife machine was invented in 1920 and was I don't
Taken
know.
out of pharmacies.
Oh, isn't that interesting though? It's these
Ah,
old remedies. So this is what I did so much research, Rhiannon, into this over the last 10 years. So what I've got now is the 2024 version of this type of level of equipment because it's a whole new thing for me as well because I am very science based. And but when this is working on a different level when you're working frequency, but it seems to be the information is kind of amazing, and it makes sense, on another level as well. We all have our own frequency.
mm,
Um, and
incredible. Oh my goodness, we've started on juicing and we've ended up on hair testing, but you know what? It's all about health and well-being and finding different ways to, yeah, just to make that process of elimination easier. It's incredible what's possible. Anyway, we're out of time today. I'd love you to all give a fantastic thank you to Rebecca Lang. Thank you for giving up your time, Rebecca. It's just been so informative. Great to have all of you. We call you our friends of natural medicine. We love it when more and more Australians are interested and engaged in our conversations about natural medicine. So, all of these events are brought to you by the Australian Traditional Medicine Society. You'll all become friends of natural medicine by coming to these events. We won't spam you. We'll just send you a little email every 2 weeks that you can unsubscribe from if you don't like it, but we know that you will love it. It links you to a podcast that we pop out called Let's Talk Natural Medicine. You'll also get a blog. You'll get recipes from one of our celebrity chefs. Yeah, it's just a great way of just getting informed, getting engaged. There's no pressure from any of that, and none of it costs you anything. So it's just great having you engaged. We will be having another 5 webinars available next week. So we look forward to you just jumping on naturalmedicineweek.com.au. Register for as many of these webinars as you like, and everyone who's registered, you'll also get the link for the catch up as well. So great having you come today. Happy Friday, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the day. Enjoy your weekend, and I look forward to seeing many of you again next week. Bye for now.
Hi, everyone.